Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Why the title of this video, preparing the RD for an MOT? Sadly, it is not clickbait. There has been some legislation introduced into France that requires all motorcycles from 1960 of all capacities to be MOT'd, or control technique as it is known here. There are some slight differences between this type of bike, which is classified as a vehicle to collection, and say the Harley and Claire's Ducati, which are more modern bikes that conform to Euro norms. I'll try my best to concentrate on what it means for this. So the control will cover all of the safety areas that you would typically expect. So tyres, spindles, forks and shock absorbers, rust, leaks, that sort of thing. Function of lights, function of indicators, headstock bearings, controls, instruments, foot pegs, chain, and wheel alignment, all the usual stuff that you'd expect. Also emissions, and that is split into two categories. Emissions from the exhaust pipe regarding pollutants, so your NOx and your CO2 and whatever, and also decibels. Now, as this is a vehicle to collection, it does not conform to any Euro norm. So it is not Euro 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, none of that. So if we take Claire's Ducati logbook as an example, it says here that it conforms to Euro 4. So when her bike is tested, it will have to comply not only with the pollutants, but also with the stated number of decibels. And for her bike, it is 90. On this bike, the RD, which is a vehicle to collection, there are no such figures. So there's no Euro norms and there's no decibel figures. My understanding is that as a part of the control, what they will be looking at with old bikes such as this is its originality. So they will check engine number, frame number, and the logbook to make sure that they all match. And they will be looking for it to conform to its manufacturer's standards when it was produced new. So they are looking for modifications to the bodywork, modifications to the engine, and exhaust pipes. I think I'm okay on the RD. I had a word with the guy, the MOT guy, and told him that, you know, we've got a vehicle to collection. And his first question was, how original is it? And I said, very, except for the exhaust pipes. But he asked me, does your exhaust pipes have baffles on them? And they do. And he said, well, you should be okay then. So in terms of getting the bike MOT'd and back on the road, that should be fine. MOTs for these older bikes, these vehicle to collection, last for 5 years. There is, however, one fly in the ointment. In France, we have this system called Crit Air. Think of it as ULEZ, ULEZ for the entire country. And whatever vehicle you drive, it will have to have a Crit Air sticker. And they range from the green ones for full EVs, hybrids, petrols, diesels, and basically what it does, the sticker alerts the authorities of that particular area, that city, that you are driving a Euro 4 or a Euro 3 vehicle. As this has no emission standards, it will automatically be classified as the worst of the pollutants, so that's a category 5 for motorcycles. So I'm worried that at some time this may be forced off the road because I won't be allowed to ride it into city centres or urban areas. That is a risk I think we have to take in having these older bikes, and I think it's a risk that's probably coming to somewhere near you quite soon, ULEZ being the prime example. So what have we got to do to get this ready for an MOT? Well, fortunately, it's pretty good overall. I've got to put a new speedo cable on because you would remember that when I took the bike out last, the speedo stopped working. And I've also got a small problem with the headlamps. headlamp. So I think that's got to come out and we'll have a look at that. But overall, the tyres are pretty new. The chain and sprockets are new. It's running reasonably well, as you saw in the last video. It's not overly smoky. The instruments all work, the indicators work, and the mirrors reflect, well, they should be reflecting George Clooney, but they're not. So be it. So let's crack on with it. So these are the crit air categories for motorcycles, and it looks like the older classic bikes are going to be down at number 5. Great news, everybody. The postman has been. New speedo cable for the RD. It's threading the new cable up here behind the headlamp shell, through the guide on the mudguard, and down into here. A little bit of grease top and bottom, and we should be good to go. Right, let's get those screws done up. Let's have a look at what this problem is up here. The problem that I had with the electrics and the lights not working was quite simple. Firstly, that bulb had blown, the little side light bulb. And the other issue was here in the main bulb holder, that spade connector was loose. It had come out, popped out the back, and wasn't making a connection with the bulb itself. So I put a screwdriver in there to open up the spade connector, pushed it back into the plastic holder, and it locked it into position. So now I think our lighting issues are solved. Okay, let's just run through the basics for the MOT. Start with the lights. So we should be on side light, main beam, dip beam rather, high beam. Yeah, all good. Indicator front. Yeah, indicator front. Yeah, and horn. That's all good. Neutral light, oil light on. Indicators on. Illumination of the dials on. Brake light, front lever, brake light rear, indicator, and regular light. There we go. There's no notchiness in there. Oh, great. Just the forks for play. No, perfectly tight. There's no whirl on there. A little bit of binding, but nothing much. No play at all. I can feel a little bit of play there. I wonder if it's the swinging arm or the wheel. Feels like the wheel. Shock absorbers, they're old, but there's no leaks. Rubbers are all good, bushes are all good. So this side, rubbers are good, no leaks, no rust. Okay, let's have a quick look at that rear spindle just to see if it needs another 1/8 of a turn on it. Let's slacken that off for a sec. So I found a small problem here on the rear sprocket. Zoom in, see if you can see it. Some of these nuts have come loose need to go around and do a spanner check. So I'll take those retainers off, I'll put a little bit of thread lock on, and I'll tighten up those nuts. Well, that was handy, preparing the bike for the MOT and finding that these things were loose. Very unexpected. In terms of preparation for the MOT, I think there is a tiny bit of play in the bearing, a tiny bit of play. Whether they'll pick up on it, I don't know, but I don't have time between now and the MOT appointment to get that fixed. I can't get it ordered, get here, have it arrive and fitted in time. That is my only concern. Everything else works. There are no leaks on the suspension, the brakes work, the lights work, the controls work. I think what I'll do is just go out for a few more kilometers on it and then bring it back, give it a good clean so it presents nicely at the MOT station and take it from there. So I'll let you know how it gets on in the next video. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and share. Feel free to comment, not just to me, but to other people that comment on the videos as well. Opens up quite a discussion sometimes. Anyway, thanks once again. I'll see you in the next one.